I consider myself an entrepreneur, and I think like this skill set, like to sit anywhere and think, okay, what can I do? What's interesting to do, and then like to start something, and then follow like this artistic approach to follow that road into the vision that you have from a certain work, which is at the end of the day in my world now like a business or an art fair.
Welcome to Voices on Art, the Van Horn Gallery podcast hosted by Daniela Steinfeld. Voices on Art is available on your preferred podcast platform and our YouTube channel Van Horn Gallery with subtitle tools. Listen, subscribe, and leave a rating if you like it. I'm Daniela, and this podcast is about my personal and also about a lot of other people's enthusiasm for art. Art can touch on all parts of life, and therefore we talk about all parts of life. I hope to get you on board and to tell you interesting stories you enjoy listening to. My guest in this episode is Walter Gehlen, co-founder and director of Art Düsseldorf. Walter is a multifaceted guy walking through many roads and trying out a lot of different careers, studies, apprenticeships, from wanting to become an artist, studying art history, working at a hospital, studying business, cooking and catering professionally, before he founded his own art fair company, being able to use all these combined skills he acquired on the way. If you're interested in diving deep into his personal history, you get it from the first minute. And if you want to learn more about building an art fair, we cover this from about minute 20. So enjoy. I'm sitting here with Walter Gehlen, who is the founder of Art Düsseldorf, the art fair in Düsseldorf. And we decided to speak in English, although we're both German, to please our international audience. So very friendly of us, I think. And welcome, Walter. Very, very nice to have you here. We planned it for a long time.
Thanks
and now
for the invitation.
Happens.
Yeah, great.
Now it happens. So as we found out many, many years ago already, we're both from Düsseldorf. We both went to the same school.
Absolutely.
So I went with your brother on the same level. And so that was something that, although you don't live in Düsseldorf anymore and I came back after many years, this is kind of like something that ties us very deeply to the city, and that makes us kind of really want this city to blossom, to really, that something really great happens with art in the city. And I just read, which I didn't know because we never talked about that, I just read that you originally really wanted to be an artist because you saw an exhibition of Gerhard Richter at the Kunsthalle in Düsseldorf in 1986, which actually was the same exhibition Jan Albers saw. And he was very much impressed by that. But what happened to you in that exhibition that you thought oh, art, that is something I really want to do?
Yeah, I had a really great art teacher in our school. So
Who was that? I don't remember.
That was Mr. Munk.
Mr. Munk
was his name.
Which is it's a very saying name, very telling name, but Munk. I don't know him.
Yeah, that was my teacher, and he was basically his schedule was taking the institutional museum shows and go with us there and show us the show, and then we discussed it and did some work, inspired by this show.
Okay, but a lot of young people think oh my God, we have to go to the museum, that's so boring. Yeah. So what was the difference?
Well, I was really into drawing and painting, so I was really kind of thinking about becoming an artist, and even in the first class, there is a remark on my how's it called? Zeugnis.
On the Zeugnis, on the whatever evaluation sheet.
Yeah, evaluation sheet, that I have talent to draw and so on. So I was really supported by my family and by my teachers to go in this direction. And but I had no idea about what does it mean to be an artist and what happens to your work. And then I was in this Gerhard Richter show, and I noticed, okay, there's a lot of press coverage, there's a lot of interesting things that he has to say about images and
about
photography, painting, and what really sticks to my mind is he said photography, the most interesting photography is the blurred one. Like if you have if there was a bank robbery and you have like a little image totally blurred from the security camera, this is what people are interested in. So to explain why he was blurring all his images to make them more interesting, I thought, well, that's great. And then I went to this exhibition and saw, I was overwhelmed by this show in terms of the different work groups. And
how old were you, like?
16.
16?
Yeah, I was born 1970.
Okay, 16. Yeah, Jan was 15. Jan. Okay.
I was 16, and I saw like all the portraits, like the black and white portraits of Kafka and Einstein and so on. And I was just impressed how on earth someone could like produce this much of portraits. And then I was inspired to go more into portrait. So, and also like the abstract painting, so that you just, the joy of just painting and be overwhelmed by what the brush leaves behind. So and basically what interested me most was the fact that he was working on so many different things, like free abstract paintings, like from the 80s, and then the totally kind of abstract and geometric paintings, and then the black and white, the figurative paintings, like he was in landscapes. I was just...
So you were like just a huge Gerhard Richter fan?
Absolutely, he was my idol.
He was your idol?
Yeah, he was my idol. And then when I finished school, I've heard, okay, he is
professor at the Kunstakademie.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, come on, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And so I prepared. I had no idea about. I didn't ask anyone how this should be done. So I just submitted whatever
you did.
Whatever I did, and from my point of view now, I know exactly why these people thought, okay, he can maybe draw and paint quite well, but what's his point? So I guess.
But you didn't try a second time.
No, I was so focused on the Düsseldorf Academy that I couldn't imagine to try other schools.
No, that I completely understand. That was the same for me. But for example, I was rejected the first time, and I just applied a second time.
Yeah, basically, I think I was too young to understand that this is
that this is even possible.
Exactly, and I wanted to go ahead. And
I see.
And then I signed up in Cologne as in the art section to become, not because I wanted to become an art teacher, but I just wanted to study art.
Interesting.
So, and they had like more practical courses, like nude drawing and painting, and so I did that. And but I didn't like the atmosphere, because that was like, because
it was so practical, and it was not like the sort of like free art. You wanted to do what you expected as a Kunstakademie.
Yeah. So what I now learned about how it works in the academy, that was exactly what I wanted. So, and not like become an art teacher and understand how to draw whatever.
Yeah, and it can be also very frustrating, because I had another art teacher at Max Planck, at the school where we went together. And he was a very frustrated person, because he...
Beckers?
I think so.
Yeah, Beckers, yeah.
And
he was also very good, yeah.
No, for me it was horrible, actually. He really killed my desire to...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really, I mean, against his negativity and against all odds. You know, I later studied at the Kunstakademie, and I don't know if you ever saw those works I did. I went to Max Planck.
He showed me, yeah.
And you know, photographed all of them. And he declined to be one of my models there, because he said, oh, this is nothing what you're doing there. And I just thought, oh, wow, after 10 years, because I studied late, so I'm now going to art school, you could congratulate me, which he didn't. So that was an interesting experience. But what I also found interesting is that after you weren't accepted at Kunstakademie, then you went to Cologne, that you tried several things and found out it's not 100% for me. And then you also decided to not finish the study, but go to something until you find something which really is interesting to you and really want to do.
Yeah, so the next step was I was really bored by the atmosphere in this school. And then I changed to art history. Art history, Italian, theater, film, and
interesting. I
and
really
science.
didn't know that you have all those skills.
Yeah, and I studied this like until they kicked me out.
Why did they do that?
Because it was like
10 years.
10 years. But so I didn't unsubscribe there.
Okay.
So, but I studied like for, let's say, 1 year. And I was also bored because it was more or less like on like
Dead artists and old and it's
masters,
the past.
Rubens and so on and so on. And also I was too young to understand that I have to kind of try to find my way into contemporary art there.
How old were you then?
21.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So, and then I decided, okay, I want to have like a university degree, so just to have one, and I want to study something that is open enough to give me the space to do whatever, to find my way, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, and then I decided, okay, let's study economics.
That's from art to economics. That's
But the interesting thing is, like, economics is the science about marketplaces, like how the world markets function, how countries function, taxation and so on. So you get the whole picture, and you learn how to think like systematically. And at the end of the day, I combined, without knowing it, these two worlds.
Yeah.
Like I now created, like long time ago, a marketplace for art. So, and this is sometimes interesting. And when I speak to my children or their friends, I tell them probably the job or whatever you do in the future is not existing at this moment. So don't focus on something that might change or whatever. Do whatever you think is you're interested in.
Yeah.
And these things, even they look like totally incompatible, they will come together.
Oh yeah.
Have a look at me.
Yeah, no,
So.
but you know what, for me was a big surprise, because when we first met, that was when you did the Düsseldorf Contemporary in, I think, 2007 or 2008.
That was 2007.
2007. And there, the image you gave for me was like the super straight businessman, And I mean, now we know each other for a long time, but just now in preparation for this talk here, I read much more about you, and I listened to much more, but more reading, that I thought like, oh, I didn't know that in the end it is a quite similar approach that I had, that if you're bored, you just stop it, and you kind of like work as long as something until you find the thing which is really right for you.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect that, because I thought you had like this super straight path, which you didn't.
No. I guess my family was really a little
Worried.
bit worried.
Yeah.
What is this guy doing? And I also was thinking about medicine.
That's also a good field.
So it's also a good field,
But you have to have the numerus clausus.
Yeah, I could have had like a place. So I came in touch with medicine after school. Like in these times, boys had to do either military service or civil service.
Yeah.
And I decided to do civil service in the university hospital in Cologne. And I went to I went to the psychiatry, like the closed psychiatry, because I really wanted to understand like the extreme parts of the health system.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting.
Oh, I can imagine.
So and it was dangerous also. So I got attacked by
Really?
someone with schizophrenia, yeah, that was quite an experience. And
does this enable you now to deal better with certain attitudes you encounter in people?
well, basically, how I look back now is like with the thought, maybe medicine is interesting for me. I saw, okay, especially in this field, there is no interest of these people working there to really help people. It's about diagnosing. And then, like, look in the list, what's the standard treatment at the moment, like prescribe pills.
Yeah.
And if these people are like too dangerous or whatever, then just
put them away.
Put them away, and I was really motivated to find solutions how to help, because
Yes.
I really like to kind of change things and
sure.
to put them into something better. And I was like disillusioned in this place and thought, no, if you go this direction and you study 10 years medicine and you end up there and you can do nothing apart from, oh, that's schizophrenia and that's a depression. Yes, I found it out, but I cannot really do something about it. In these days, that was kind of my impression.
Well, that's probably. I mean,
it changed. It changed a lot.
Probably.
But in these days, it was really like there was also in the public, like now depression and schizophrenia, not so much, but depression is a big thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of change. It changed a lot.
The consciousness, the attitude towards it changed a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Also that it's much more accepted that you do therapies,
Exactly.
or that you just also take care not only of your outer body, but also of your inner psychic state.
Yeah. But then I was also bored, because it was like all the same. Like I understood how that works and that nothing can be done. So, and even my impact there was like minimal.
Yeah.
And then I asked if I could change to a different station, and I went to the infection station, so which was also closed because it was so infectious.
Jesus.
And
you're a multifaceted guy.
And
Interesting.
that was a station where, like, somehow in these days, like 80% were HIV/AIDS patient.
Oh yeah, in the 90s then.
In the 90s.
In the 90s.
90, 91, 92, something like that. No, in 1990, yeah.
In the late 80s, I mean, I think we heard about AIDS the first time probably in something like 84, 84, something like that.
Yeah.
And then for a long time it was non-treatable.
Yeah. And in these days it was also non-treatable.
Yeah, non-treatable.
Like
it was like a death sentence.
It was like a death sentence, and these people they were like, basically was a place to kind of guide these people to die.
To die.
So, and then I discovered my job is basically to kind of to wash them, and then I saw they all had long fingernails because no one cared.
Nobody cared about it.
And then
just clipped them.
That was my daily job. I decided, okay, that's what I'm doing. I just go there and make sure that they have perfect fingernails.
Yeah, but that makes them feel better, definitely.
Absolutely, and it was for me good to talk with them, and they really enjoyed that. And but this was basically the place where I came closest to death, because like every week people were dying, and I got to know them. I kind of they were part of my.
Well, how did you deal with that, or what did this? I'm sure it changed your outlook on life somehow.
I think when you are 20, 21, you think you're immortal, and that's what I thought. So I thought whatever happens in life, if there will be a war or whatever, I will always survive. So
sure.
that changed after I was 35, I would say.
Oh, that's early. For me, it changed just now.
Yeah. So and that was the moment where I decided, no, medicine is not the right way. I want to become an artist. So.
Oh, but that also was not the right way then? And then you went into economics?
Right.
And from there, somehow you found this link between art and economy. Did you have a job before you founded your first art fair in Cologne?
Yeah, so to give you the full picture, also what's relevant now. So when I studied, I set up a catering business. So I was
Such an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so basically I was eating in Düsseldorf in an Italian place, and he was like one of the chic Italians, and he had a very special type of cooking. So he was not a trained cook, but he was in the, like when he was a little child, he was in this business, and he created in Düsseldorf like the most recognized Italian place in Wittlar.
Ah, what was the name
Schmitz-Lückes.
Schmitz-Lückes. I think I even
And
remember.
a lot of collectors that I see now at Art Düsseldorf, I served them there. And so they were eating there.
Okay.
Right. And he had a big capacity, like a big kitchen, and his style was to just have the best ingredients and cook them like very naturally. So not like foam here and this and that. So very basic, but it was so great and tasteful, and it was for me also like very inspiring. I thought, okay, yeah, basically that's what great cooking is all about. Not to take something and create something that looks interesting, but like the value is inside, and it's very reduced, like basically like a abstract painting. So, and then I asked him, well, I would like to work for you for free, but you have to answer all my questions.
Oh, okay.
And
yes.
that's what I did. So I worked with him in the kitchen. I was washing dishes, I was chopping onions, I was
And you learned cooking?
I learned cooking.
Oh, Walter.
Yeah, and service. So I can carry 5 dishes.
That's probably very useful.
It is, and in these days, so like every year since 3 years, I cook for the Asian collectors.
Oh, you do that?
Yeah. So
privately then at your home?
No,
At
privately
Art Düsseldorf?
in collectors' spaces in Düsseldorf.
Okay,
So,
I didn't know that.
And and last time
They must love that.
That was 70 collectors from all over the world. And I cooked for them. And some of them are only coming back because they love this event.
Oh,
so
I can imagine.
So I also took this experience and this passion now in these days, and I'm using it, and it's a great pleasure.
No, I think it's so special if the director of the fair cooks for you.
Yeah, and for me it's not only a pleasure, it's basically a kick, because we all know when you cook, something really bad can happen. So
yes.
that
yeah, I can cook. I cook not at all because I cannot cook.
Yeah, so
really,
it can burn, it can whatever.
Yeah.
The oven can break down or whatever. But this is like in the middle of like the job of Art Düsseldorf to kind of produce this dinner gives me like
a kick. It's an adventure.
It's an adventure.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's an adventure.
Yeah, thank God it worked out the last 3 years. So, but after my studies, I went into a business consulting firm.
But what was it with the caterings? I mean, so you mean that you learned cooking there, you worked there, but you said you set up a catering service.
Yeah, exactly. So basically the business was that, when you produce like for an event, like during the day you chop the onions, you just prepare everything, you fillet the fish, and then when people come, you have everything mise en place. And then you cook it like freshly. So, and the business model was, he was creating for me the mise en place, which I could do myself, but I asked him to do that. So I came with my car and put in all the like ready ingredients, chopped and everything. And then I was driving to the client, and that was like between 10, 20, sometimes the biggest was 250 people. And then I cooked there, like live. So I didn't bring like preheated ready things.
I see. Oh, that was the catering. Okay.
So, and but this is what you would do anyway if you cook somewhere freshly. You don't chop the onions.
No,
like
no,
on
no.
place.
You bring
just
the stuff with you.
Bring the stuff. But like the benefit for the clients was they get like really
super fresh, and they get the experience also of seeing you cooking. So it's for the guests, it's also the feeling they can participate. And
exactly, and then you cook the lobster and chop it up, and you know, so it was also like sometimes was a big show. So, and the good thing was, I financed my studies with that, and I always had great food to eat, like the rest lobsters and caviar and.
Okay.
So that was very very nice. And after that, after my economics studies, I also studied in Glasgow for 1 year at the Adam Smith University, and then I, like a lot of people who study economics, I applied for being a business consultant, and I ended up in a small Cologne company that was focused on public clients, like cities and change management processes, which is also, I learned also things that now kind of, or gave me for the art fair job a lot of
tools, a lot of skills.
Because the job is to kind of convince people that are not really, these like people who work in public places, they quite enjoy the fact that everything stays the same. So change is threatening, and to kind of motivate these people, to think differently and to kind of optimize their processes and so on. That was I learned a lot of things that were important for me, like as a skill set to create these art fairs that I've done. Because the job there is you have nothing, you just have to kind of come with an idea and create a picture that everyone understands and that motivates the people that are necessary to motivate to make it happen.
Well, I mean, it's like a little bit kind of like an analogy to making a work of art. You know, you start with an absolutely unknown outcome, or probably you start with an empty canvas, or you just start with an idea.
That's right.
And if you want to bring it into the world, well, you can do it on your own. But if you want to really to be seen, to be talked about, to be communicated, you have to find the right language, and you have to find the right people.
And this is exactly what I took, like from my idea becoming an artist, like this approach to things, approach to create a work. I guess this is like the artist that is hidden
inside of you.
So I'm not using a brush, although I still probably could do it. And so it's a different. Artists are really special in working with ill-structured problems.
That's so interesting. I had students from the first year of the Kunstakademie. Sebastian Riemer and Geron Kreber, both are professors there right now, or teachers. They gave a tour for them. And so those are just very young people, just starting. And both Geron and Sebastian Riemer, who are more established artists, they both said, we were all kind of like, we thought all together that studying art, or kind of like working in that field with art, that it's like a studium generale, a study generale, where you learn to approach problems in a very constructive and different way.
Absolutely.
Where it's always not about like, what can I do? But it's like, okay, if this does not work, maybe that works. Maybe I can do that, So it's a mindset that is installed, ideally, at the teaching at the Kunstakademie, that you can apply to any field of work.
Absolutely. In these times when I wanted to, when I applied for a business consultant job, I also went to Walter Gehlen, who's like a big entrepreneur and an art collector here. And when I prepared myself for this interview, I learned that he uses his art collection, to kind of inspire his people.
Absolutely.
And in a way that he says, look, how artists approach things is exactly how I would like us to approach problems. So everyone, like as an entrepreneur or as a business consultant, you're sitting for the white canvas. And if you're not a painter, it's even worse. You're sitting somewhere and you can do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and this is, I consider myself an entrepreneur, and I think like this skill set, like to sit anywhere and think, okay, what can I do? What's interesting to do? And then like to start something, and then follow like this artistic approach to follow that road into the vision that you have from a certain work, which is at the end of the day, in my world now, like a business or an art fair.
Yeah, no, I think very often that, for example, we meet a lot of different people in my role as a gallerist, and the people that very often are closest to understand what an artist does are not the art historians or the museum people. It's the entrepreneurs, which are often the collectors, They connect with the artists on a very practical level because they completely understand how it is if you do something on your own and you have to figure it out and you have to find your way.
Exactly.
This is why I think a lot of people that have their own smaller or bigger businesses are collecting art because they completely understand it's not just decoration, it's really a mindset how to create something new and bring something into the world which wasn't existing before.
Exactly, and some works and some artists create work that like is also technically so sophisticated and cutting edge with exactly this mind. So it doesn't work, doesn't look good. What can I do? And can I get rid of this? And can I get rid of this? And now it works. Like exactly how an entrepreneur. So it's too expensive. What can I do to make it cheaper
or
so
easier
that
or whatever?
So that finally the business model works.
I think this is really true, that this is sort of like that there's never the possibility to say, oh no, we cannot do it,
Exactly.
It's like, oh no, we don't do that, oh no. No, it's always sort of like, okay, well, I tried that, it kind of does not work, so let's try that. And I think that is a very positive and constructive approach,
Like Bruce Lee said, if you can't go, if you
Bruce
can't
Lee.
go right, go left.
Yeah, exactly.
So when he was like fighting with someone, if it doesn't work from the right side, then go left side.
If plan A doesn't work, plan B, plan C, plan D.
Exactly.
So it's like, this is like a very flexible thing, and I think this can be applied to anything, and I think we need it right now more than ever, because as we know, and from the past few years, latest since COVID, that we all try all the time to find a new approach, and also to bring people in, which is very important, because it's like as much entrepreneurial we always need the others. None of us is an island. We always need to work together. We need other people. If they don't think, oh, that's great what he or she is doing, and this is why we support it, you cannot do anything.
That's right.
So it's always a communal work. But when you finished your studies and you went then to work in business counseling, at some point was it like that you thought like, well, I really would like to have my own company, or you didn't want to be employed? I can imagine.
Exactly. That was my biggest problem.
Yeah, I understand.
And really, so I still cannot imagine myself to be employed and to have a boss. To have a boss and follow rules. Of course, I have people that I'm responsible for, and I also have shareholders of Art Düsseldorf, and so I'm responsible, but I'm totally independent, and I'm really make sure that they can rely on me, and there is no need to kind of apply rules that I don't want to follow, right? So, and indeed, and with this mindset, I really wanted to become independent and an entrepreneur. I was approached by Andreas Lohaus, my first business partner, and he said, "Look, there is an art fair in New York. It's called the Affordable Art Fair. We all know. That was like in the FAZ, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. It was a big thing in Germany. Oh my God, there's an art fair for
for cheaper works.
For cheaper works.
Not cheap, but sort of like better price,
Yeah.
lower priced works.
Yeah, and there also was like the square meter price for a booth in this article, and then he said like square meters and turnover, that looks interesting, and I thought, yeah, that's an interesting idea, and I love art, and I would
and
like.
You love business.
I love business, so and
yeah.
then I had no idea. I mean, I knew some things about art, like from the perspective of someone who was studying art history, but I had no idea about the art market and how path depending it is. So it's so important, like that you choose from the very beginning the right path. Mm-hmm. So so at the end of the day, we had no idea about art fairs. So the next art fair was in Vienna, Art Vienna, and we went there and we thought, oh my God, this is so great. But no.
But you knew Art Cologne, didn't you?
Yeah, I knew Art Cologne. I had no idea who's really relevant and so on. I basically was not focused when I went there on the galleries.
But on the art.
On the art.
Yeah,
So when I saw Max Ernst, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So and I also thought, and who's ever showing in this place must be relevant.
Yeah.
And the same thing was in Vienna. I thought whoever's showing he must be relevant. And then all of them said, "Oh, that's a good idea. And can we? Are you thinking about having this maybe as a sideshow to Art Cologne?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" And within 6 weeks, we had like the exhibitors from this show signing up for this first art fair in Cologne.
Which was kind of like the idea also of being an affordable art fair.
Exactly.
With different booth prices and also lower priced artworks.
Exactly. So the limit was 5,000 euros. And and within, as I said, 6 months we had the show fully booked, but I had no idea who I was engaging with.
Okay, you weren't thinking about quality or that there are different levels of galleries or all of that.
So, and I learned over the years.
It's learning by doing. It's a very punk thing, actually,
it is,
Walter.
It is.
Learning by doing.
And then I realized, okay, with this setup of galleries, it's not possible. I was always wondering, look, we had the much better place than Art Cologne, but there was still like this firewall. No one wanted to have something from these exhibitors apart from one or two. And I learned, okay, it's a different world that we have created here. And in the art business, it's about like the stable you put your horses in. Yeah. And if it's like a good stable, then...
Yeah, then you want to be there. And if it's not good, you just
have a stable.
It's all about trust and reputation.
It is, so. And so I learned that. And at the end of the day, in 2016, in between 2007, like
the Düsseldorf Contemporary.
Düsseldorf Contemporary was like one trial and successful trial.
That was a very good roster of galleries. That was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, and so that was basically okay. Now we have the opportunity to kind of create something new on a different level. Yeah. And it worked out, but in these days it was all about to get like international art fairs. So the best fairs are the one with the most international art fairs. So I guess we had 80 galleries, and 65 of them were international galleries, and I was really.
No, I remember, but I remember very well that there were like very famous galleries from New York. Yeah. It's like there was I remember like a third probably are Art Basel galleries now. Yeah. So it was a very
absolutely
top roster at that time. I mean, 2007, a lot of them were much younger, but it was very high quality.
Yeah, it was.
And it just, as far as I remember, it just didn't happen a second time because the main money giver backed out.
Yeah, that's right. And also like the experience that we made there was like we had like 80% foreign galleries, and now I know that it's important to have like a certain amount of local galleries or German galleries, because you want them to invite like the people, the collectors from around.
Yeah.
And basically we had no invitation power, because like the foreign galleries came and said, oh, come on, let's have a look what this show is bringing to us. And only 10 or 15 galleries, and maybe 5 from Düsseldorf. And so like people came, but not the right people. No one knew really much about the fair, but it looked great.
But it looked fantastic.
It looked fantastic. It was an innovative like booth
really
conception with Carsten Weber. And that was a great experience, but it didn't last a second time.
No, so I remember.
And then 10 years later, I said, I have an open business in Düsseldorf. And then basically it was
So let's connect the dots.
It's all coincidence, because we were kind of, we were working with someone who was specialized on mergers and acquisitions with fairs, and he called us and said, look, I got a newsletter from MCH Group. They are interested in teaming up with regional art fairs. So that was called Regional Art Fair Strategy, which in these days was a wonderful idea, because MCH Group, who run Art Basel, they wanted to acquire like smaller art fairs in like certain but powerful regions, and to get more closer to the
regional audience and collectors.
To the regional audience and collectors. So, and I said to this guy, okay, I mean, get in contact with them, but I cannot imagine at all that they would be interested in our little
art fair in Cologne.
Little art fair in Cologne that started as an affordable art fair. And the funny thing was, they were interested. And then we just came up with the idea, because we saw no future in Cologne, because basically my entrepreneurial thinking was, I have a 50% chance to lose the business in Cologne, because like a lot of struggle with other fairs in Cologne. And when we go to Düsseldorf, I have a 50% chance to not be successful as well, but a 50% chance to create something much greater. So, and where the chance to create something much greater in Cologne, because we were on a path that led into a direction that was not really kind of.
No, you couldn't also, because there is Art Cologne. How you cannot compete with that in Cologne? It's impossible.
So basically the decision was, okay, let's go for the chance, and the same risk, but a greater chance. And 10 years later now, I would say that was a good decision to make.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's but I think, so when you planned that, so I remember that these Art Basel regional strategy, for a while they were partners, but one of the main assets is that it's in this beautiful location at the Areal Böhler.
Yeah, but I can promise you, if the headline in our press release was Andreas Lohaus and Walter Gehlen set up a new show in Düsseldorf, they think it's a great idea. Look at this hall, isn't it beautiful?
It wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked.
No.
But I mean, like this strategic partnership with MCH Group.
Absolutely.
Was like, I mean, we had calls from New York Times, what's going on there?
Yeah.
So, and we had David Smyrna and
so
like,
that was kind of like the main incentive to do it, because they were looking, MCH Group was looking for partnering with regional fairs. That was kind of the starting spark.
No, we decided to go to Düsseldorf anyway.
Oh, anyway.
So it just was a coincidence.
It was just a great coincidence.
It was a great coincidence,
which helped a lot.
Which is basically, it has nothing to do with my skills, or it was just.
It was just there.
Just karma or whatever.
Yeah, it just happened.
So, but of course, I mean, the entrepreneurial impact is to make this decision. Yeah, come on. Even if I don't believe they could be interested, let's talk to them. And then something happens. So it's like fishing. The more rods you have in the water,
the more likely you get.
The more likely you
a
get.
Fish bites. Yeah.
So, and So, and this is how. Yeah, and strategic partnerships. It's not about money, and a lot of people misunderstood also this. They said, "Oh yeah, it's MCH is giving money." They were buying shares from me and Andreas. So, but there was no money given into the company. So they were trusting us that we create with like our business that we started in Cologne, that we create like a positive result, which we did. And so when they left, because of their financial problems, because of Basel World, that collapsed, and then they withdrew all their regional art fair activities. And that was like, basically for us, it was really bad, because we had all these, like 10 days before the fair, they withdrew, big thing. And then I was at the press conference. It was not about, so what you're showing at your fair. It was, now what kind of problems do you have now? And they withdraw their money. No, I had to explain everything. So that was a pretty tricky time.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, that is the interesting thing, that I think it's in the general world like that, but the art fair, the art world is so much, it's so much about human relations, and it's so much about reputation, about trust, and there are so many rumors around where people just start telling things, and you have constantly kind of like to deal with that, because it used to be different probably 20 years ago, but now rumors are dealt with as if they were truth.
Yeah.
And that is very dangerous.
It is.
You know, and so you have to constantly have sort of like a press team being alert on certain things. Oh no, they lost all the money. Oh no, that's going to end very soon.
Exactly.
All of that. And these things can be very powerful and actually really lead to problems which weren't there before somebody spread the rumor.
So basically what I learned there is, and we had great PR companies, also like in cooperation with MCH Group, but basically to run an art fair in this kind of environment is crisis PR all the time.
All the time.
So, and which is also,
interesting.
It's also a great skill to have, to kind of see what's like the big black cloud over your business, and how to kind of explain people, no, there's the sun up there, it's just a cloud that is kind of moving fast. And that was really interesting to kind of understand the mechanisms of crisis and crisis PR, basically.
I mean, I can imagine there are some crises which you cannot deal with just with a PR team. But there are a lot of crises which are just made by talking about certain things in a certain way, and these are two different things that have to be addressed differently. I mean, we all here, I think, from Düsseldorf, as we started with already, we have really a big interest in having this work out very, very well, because it's very good for us here. I think it's good for the city in general.
Absolutely.
To have that, because different people are coming, and we have the very strong Rhineland regional market, which is, I think, still collector-wise one of the biggest markets in the world.
Absolutely.
It's not like that you have the most revenue because the people don't buy one painting for $150 million, but probably 10,000s of people are buying for 10,000.
Exactly.
So that's a big market, actually.
It is.
And so I mean, you did the first Art Düsseldorf, which worked out pretty well, then pretty soon COVID came. Yeah. You had to deal with that.
Exactly.
Then
the first 5 years were just crisis management all the time.
Yeah.
And only the last 2 or 3 editions we had like the space to talk about our content. So that's exactly how it was.
Yeah, but you survived, and there was, shortly after COVID, I remember there was a very interesting digital strategy where you had like live digital tours on the fair, where collectors from everywhere could kind of like link in and even talk to the gallerists. I found that, and that was also together with a certain platform, as far as I remember.
In New York, we had a platform in New York who programmed this.
But this was very COVID related, because you're not offering that anymore.
No, we're not offering that anymore, and I think COVID taught us a lot about how digital tools work in the art market. I think everyone will sign the statement that people still want to kind of engage directly with an artwork.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have like a multiple from well-known artists that everyone knows how they look like, I mean, you can buy it online.
Yeah.
And or with artists that, where you know, like a drawing, how big it is and how it looks like. But still, people want to engage with it. They want to kind of be in this community. They want to. It's as you said, it's a people business. It's all about kind of talking, relationships, and
connecting.
So on. Connecting.
Yeah. All the art for director cooking for one.
You cannot have this experience online, and you cannot have this experience in a video call. So I think this is like that art fairs have an online shop. I don't think that this will be the future of art fairs. I mean, a lot of people, and I think also Art Basel has engaged in something like that. But if it was like an interesting business model that worked, we would have like. And we all
would do that.
Yeah, and everyone would do that. Yeah. So like online art fairs, like 1,000 galleries, and you can click through. Yeah. And so, but we have Artsy, and so somehow it kind of works, but for a very special target group, like advisors and people like who know how this artwork looks like, and they're just looking for prices and so on. So I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but in the world where I would like to be is a world where people love to kind of see the artworks by themselves, want to be in a great atmosphere that kind of lifts them up to make a positive decision to acquire artwork. And this is basically a lot of other business sections understood that for many, many years. So if you go to a luxury shop, it's about the lighting, it's about the atmosphere, and it's about like guiding the people. And this came very, Art Basel understood that like first, and they have specialists like working on the
floor plan,
the floor plan, heat maps, where dead ends. So it's and also creating an atmosphere to kind of make sure that when people walk this way, then there must be a seating and so on. So it's like how you set up an art fair, and the floor plan is so important for the success of the exhibitors. And we now also go a step further. We kind of consult galleries on the program, like when they want to apply. Mostly it's like galleries do that anyway by themselves. What do you think of from my program could be good for Düsseldorf? And we advise them. So years before, like galleries took the works that they believed are the most successful in their gallery, but there was sometimes a mismatch with the audience. And like we do that like the last 2 years, and it has a significant impact.
Oh, that's interesting. And so because usually, well, probably the local galleries know the local audience the best, you know, but you are also then talking to collectors, or how do you get the information that, like for example, here in the Rhineland, that and that and that works better than the other?
Because we know what works. I mean, we are in contact with the galleries, we are in contact with the collectors, and as we are kind of presenting us as a marketplace, these are the two groups, like buyers and suppliers, and our job is to find the greatest match.
Yes.
So if we ask galleries to come because only they're great galleries, but the content the galleries bring is a mismatch with what the audience want, we are not doing our job correctly. So basically it should be, every art fair should like who's interested in a sustainable development. Of course you can invite a gallery, think, okay, this is turnover now for this year, great, and who cares how they perform. But as I'm partly owner of this show, I'm of course interested to make sure that the galleries that come have the best outcome.
I think that is a really, really crucial point, because you know, I did a lot of different art fairs all over the world, especially when the gallery was smaller. I could do young booths. I tried out a lot, you know. In the past few years, it became much higher risk to do that because everything was more expensive, but also because the audiences tend to be going back a bit more to their sort of like local artists, or so it becomes more national or more regional again. I think everywhere in the world.
Absolutely, there's no global fair anymore.
Like that, exactly. And I think even in the past, you know, it was always sort of like just like a fairy tale that most art fairs were international. They were not. Most art fairs were always regional. Always regional, and there were probably like Art Basels or Frieses, which kind of like for certain places like Basel, they kind of like really provided an international audience, which also now is changing. And I found very often exactly what you say now. You go there, you pay the price for the booth, very high price, and everybody's nice, and they're like, oh, great that you're there, and wonderful, and then that's it. So the art fair, except like having sometimes a VIP program, which even does not affect us because it's somewhere else and not on the fair, or they just deliver the space, but nothing else. And I think it is a very interesting point that you say, well, but you know, I'm the owner of that art fair, and I need to deliver, I need to make that match.
Absolutely.
You know, between the people that kind of like pay me and the people that pay them.
Exactly.
You know, because if this circle does not work, the art fair does not work, you know. And I think that is so interesting because I see, like, I mean, the whole world is struggling, so the art fairs are struggling, like everybody's struggling, but there are innovative solutions or service-oriented solutions where you think, so how do we make the best out of, how do we get them together, you know? I think that is a very, very important point.
It is, And talking about technology again, so we tested everything what was discussed, like online showrooms, online shops, and so on and so on. And now I think there's a new technology coming up, which is AI. And like the big question worldwide is how this can be used in the art business. And so I believe there's a lot of potential that is important for like the art market and galleries and art fairs. It gives us the opportunity to reduce jobs that I call bullshit jobs. So jobs no one enjoys doing, they're time consuming and are basically just changing postcodes correctly or uploading catalog images for art fairs, and so on and so on. So what we do now, like I changed for the next edition, like the whole concept of how we approach things. It's not about like the question, can you please produce a task, like let's say a presentation. That's not the question anymore. The question is, can you create like a tool that makes it much easier to create this product in the future automatically?
Okay.
That's what we do. So basically, I turned the whole company now, we have 5, with me 6, into a developer company. So we are now developing all the tools that we need to make the experience of Art Düsseldorf much more pleasant, much more efficient, and
you mean now the digital experience?
The whole working process. Like for instance, for you as an exhibitor, I give you an example. So you have an exhibitor portal, and then there comes the time where we ask you to upload your catalog images. So then maybe you are sitting there and you upload your image, and then it's too big, the file, and then okay. So how can I reduce the size of this image? Maybe you have the skill, maybe not. But at the end of the day, some don't have the time. At the end of the day, we get an email with, please, can you upload our images for us in our portal? Sometimes it happens. So at the end of the day, it's 2,500 images, and I guess we uploaded 1,500
Oh,
of them.
really?
And we had.
I didn't know that this is even possible.
Yeah.
I would have loved to give you all that.
Exactly. So, but just imagine you just send now an email to catalog at Art Düsseldorf, and you put the images there, and you describe this image, whatever. You put in all the information, and then this ends up in our tool, which is intelligent, and this tool sorts everything into your catalog. And if it has a question, because maybe it doesn't understand which image belongs to which artist, then you get automatically an email back with one question or two.
Yeah, sure.
And then it's sorted.
These are perfect jobs for AI. I mean, like, for example, there's also, like, for example, I'm using like MailChimp, for a newsletter, and they have the resize button, They say, so this image is too big for, for certain, and then it said, you want to resize this, and then you just press one button and it shrinks to the size they can display by email, you know. So these are, and this was before AI, I think, but.
But this automatic, like you just sent an email or you send a WhatsApp, and I have a new artist for the catalog, and then you just send the WhatsApp, and then it's automatically.
No, it would save us a lot of money.
Exactly.
And a lot of time.
So and we live now in times where, like, if you have an art fair, as an art fair organizer, you have 1 or 2 before your dates and 1 or 2 behind your dates. And my vision is that galleries go, okay, it's so easy with Art Düsseldorf, I can just do it like while I'm boarding. Come on, I'll do it. Although I'm before 1 week before in whatever, and 1 week. So that's basically the idea.
No, I mean, anything you can do to make all of that easier for exhibitors is a very good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, all these soft skills and soft things also matter, like a very engaged team, friendliness, respond
which doesn't cost anything to be friendly.
Yeah, but it makes I mean, I did one art fair like Expo Chicago. I did it really 5 times, although it didn't work for me because the team was so brilliant. Yeah. It was a fantastic team. They were so engaged. I mean, really, they did everything. It didn't work out anyway, but I thought, like, oh my God, I cannot let them down, I mean, these things matter. In the end, it's a business, money matters.
Exactly,
but still, all these things that lead to this are very important. So what is then, if I as an exhibitor or I as a visitor go to next year's Art Düsseldorf, what would I expect? What are the changes big? Are they subtle? What will happen?
Yeah, basically, I mean, we started this year with a chatbot, for instance. So if you were a visitor, you could ask, where can I find Van Horn Gallery? Then it said, it's in this hall, and when you come in, you go right. Do you want to have the floor plan? And then you got on WhatsApp your floor plan, and with a little circle on where your gallery is. So it really made it, like, all of my team and a lot of people used it to find galleries, which is important for galleries, that they are found. Sometimes
that they are visible,
and that you can really, okay, this event, it's there, okay, bam. At other fairs, there are also tools, but then you have to go to the main board and check and so on. It's like a little bit more inconvenient. For instance, at the fair, when you build up, you need a ladder, you need whatever. Then you have to go to the info counter. Now you send a WhatsApp, and then you.
Oh, and somebody brings it to you?
And somebody brings it to you. Or you can, and we all already had that you can order things and so on. So it will make life easier. much easier.
And you said that you see kind of like the task also to bring, like, the galleries and the collectors together,
Yeah.
So, and to see also that galleries bring something which matches the audience here. So how do you do that?
So basically, my job is, when I'm not like these 5 days in Düsseldorf at the fair, to go to other art fairs, to travel, like to places where the most relevant for art fairs for us, where our exhibitors are and also where our collectors are. And then we talk to them, and so collectors tell us, oh, this is a great gallery, you should ask them to come to Düsseldorf, for instance. So, and then we know, okay, this collector is interested in the program of this gallery. So basically what we gather information, who is interested in what, and who's connected with whom, to kind of create this community where we believe that it works. This is basically what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I think still very often, you know, I sometimes had the feeling that we are also a little bit like in the roulette business or in the betting business, you know, because you're really betting on a good outcome, but it can never be predicted. So
That's
there's
right.
always at least for the galleries, there's always a high risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And the job is to kind of minimize that risk. I mean, when we talk about budget, it's like with some galleries we have to discuss, well, why do you need like 100 square meters if budget is an issue and you're here for the first time?
Just take half of it.
Just take 40 square meters.
Yeah.
So, and trust me, no one will kind of raise an eyebrow, oh my God, it's only 40 square meters. But it's still, a lot of galleries think like that. If we go to an art fair, it needs to be like, we used to have like big booths, but these times have changed. So, and you can make great business with a smaller booth, even 30 square meters. And then it's about like which artist. And this is like where then our discussion with the gallery makes sense to kind of, okay, don't shoot with a shotgun like on a big target, go more precisely and take these two artists. We believe that's because we've heard he's interested, and look in this.
And what would you, I mean, sort of like that's always kind of like now, like approaching the end, because we're already in 2027 now for the next Art Düsseldorf in April 2027. And what would be kind of like your wish that, like, for example, like what galleries should consider, or also the visitors of Art Düsseldorf? Is there something where you have the feeling, oh, that would be ideal if people could kind of like communicate in that way or do things in a certain way?
Yeah, I mean, we have, over the years, we have a really good picture how a gallery works that is successful at Art Düsseldorf. And there are galleries that are every year successful because they just tick like the list of things that needs to be done for a successful art fair. And it starts with the booth. It starts with the staffing of the booth. I mean, I could write a book about how a successful booth look like.
Oh.
So, and
we need that book.
Yeah, so basically it's all about that the booth is not completely visible from the aisle. So
absolutely.
50-60% need to be kind of hidden by something, by a wall, like a block, a cabinet or whatever, so that people kind of go into the booth. The worst thing you can do is to have a
just have everything open.
Everything open, and then you go and then you see it, and there is to kind of the moment where the gallerist has a chance to approach a person is when he's close to an image. So basically you have to create this space where people get close to an image. If I can, like here, if I have 5 meters to walk away, it's so hard to kind of, or it's so hard for the works
to get people
to tell me they're shouting, please ask what I'm about.
Yeah.
But it's all these works are asking. And when you're more in this intimate space, you have only one work that speaks to you. And then the gallerist can approach you and say, well, that's an interesting piece because, and then you have it. So that's so important. The other thing is like to invite people. For many years, we had no idea how galleries kind of invite people, if they invite at all. And once we started up kind of tracking this, we realized only 30% of the galleries invite at all.
Which is, to me, completely crazy. I really don't understand that.
It is, but now with technology and databases and so on and so on,
track that.
You can track that, and you can see which gallery is kind of bringing people at all, and also who's coming. It's not all about inviting people. You can invite as many as you like. It's about that these people come. Yeah, we see the booth design. We see the invitation list. We see also the marketing before the fair, and then we basically can predict that this is going to be a good show for this gallery, and in 99%, it's the case. And galleries that go there and say, "Yeah, come on, let's see what these guys are, what kind of collectors they're delivering." It's different.
No, I think each part, the fair part, the gallery part, even the collector part, each has to do their thing, and they all have to work on that something is going to be great.
Yeah.
The collector also has to show up.
Yeah.
It says, when they're from here in the area, they say, so this is the date for Art Düsseldorf, and I make sure that I'm here.
Yeah.
And that it's so important that I will be here during those days and I will show up.
Yeah. So, and I think it's important to create an atmosphere during the fair that collectors really kind of feel that it's worth going there.
Yeah.
So in these days, as a single event, it's not so interesting anymore. So people want to meet people they expect to be there. They want to kind of engage in this community. They want to have special events and so on. And this is something that we think is great here in Düsseldorf, because there is a certain community, and compared to other cities, I guess we have a lot of important stakeholders on board who are interested in to give their best in the time of the fair to really make Düsseldorf shine. All the institutions are on board in the VIP program and so on. But this is something that can be worked on in the future, that it really, let's say Art Düsseldorf is more visible, in the restaurants, in the bars, sculpture spaces, like other fairs do it in differently. So this is something that I'm interested in to develop a little bit or much further, this community approach that you feel when you come here to Düsseldorf. Okay, everyone is alert. It's about art here in the city. And talking about what can we do in the future, I don't have the feeling that we are there. I mean, it's 10 years now, and of course I thought I wasn't expecting that it took such a long time to be where we are now. I expected it to happen much quicker, but probably Corona took the momentum.
Took the momentum. But now I have the feeling we reached a platform that is solid, that when you try to jump, that it doesn't sink in. Mm-hmm. So, and where I want to jump is in an area where I really reach every collector in Germany and the on-board and the bordering countries, and there's a lot of potential. Oh yeah.
So I'm speaking to a lot of collectors, and everyone goes, "I've heard about it. Düsseldorf must be great. Have you been there?" No, not yet. So, and these are our targets in the future. And as you know, Art Düsseldorf cannot really grow because we have this space.
Yeah.
But what can grow is the number of collectors.
Absolutely.
So, and it will grow because, like the last edition, made an impact because everyone now is talking very positively about Art Düsseldorf and what's happening there and the potential. And so, and the word to mouth will help us a lot to get even more collectors to Düsseldorf, which will have another big positive impact on the success of our galleries.
So, all the skills you gathered through all these years, they kind of like accumulate now in this point.
Exactly.
You can add everything you learned in your life.
Exactly.
You can put into leading that fair.
Yeah.
And making it better and better and better, because you come from people, you come from art, you come from business, you know, from medicine, from all of these things, from cooking even, you know, and you bring it all together there. So your feeling is you're at the right time, at the right place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for me, it's also important because as we established, I get bored very easily.
Yeah, I didn't really know that.
And so for me, it would be like the worst thing to be in a situation where everything works, where you just, after application deadline, you just see, okay, 500 applications, jury, please come on, select the best 100 galleries, see you later at the fair. So that would be like, that would be not my life.
You like the challenges.
I like the challenges. I like also risks and to push things to the edge and see if something works. And and we will continue this. So
great. So thanks a lot, Walter.
It's a pleasure.
Like really talking the gamut of your life and everything, which also for me were so many new things. I really enjoyed that. I know much more now. And I hope our international English-speaking audience also knows much more. And thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Book pick. For this episode, I recommend Verschwende Deine Jugend by Jürgen Teipel, Waste Your Youth. Here the first German edition from 2001. This book gives deep insights into the development of punk in Germany, particularly in Düsseldorf, Hamburg and Berlin, from the late 70s to the early 80s. There is an English translation available through Suhrkamp, but the book hasn't been published yet, and it should be, as I think it's one of the most important books about the special culture of punk and new wave in Germany. It's a very personal book for me. It kind of gave me back my own history, having been part of that scene myself, having known most of the protagonists, having been friends with some of them. And it's more than about punk. It's about the moment a generation stopped waiting for permission, creating its own culture, together, in a community of other beings like yourself. That was the thing. If it doesn't exist, do it yourself. If you want to do it, just do it. No other requirements or knowledge needed. Do it and you'll learn along the way. Built entirely from original voices, the book captures late 70s, early 80s Germany, when places like Düsseldorf became laboratories for music, art, fashion, and ideas. Bands, artists, writers, and outsiders all shared the same attitude. What you want doesn't exist, make it yourself. A strong reminder how powerful youth culture, any culture, can be, not because it follows trends, because it invents them. Individuality wasn't a brand, do-it-yourself wasn't a strategy. It was simply the only way forward. If you're interested in how independence, fearlessness, and fun lead to creating contemporary art and independent culture, this is one of the essential books. Very inspirational indeed. I highly recommend it. Verschwende Deine Jugend, Waste Your Youth by Jürgen Teipel, published in Germany by Suhrkamp Verlag. Enjoy it. Please find links and a text about my guest in the show notes. For more information on Voices on Art, the Van Horn Gallery podcast, visit our website van-horn.net. Follow us on our YouTube channel, Van Horn Gallery, on Instagram at Voices on Art and at van_horn_Düsseldorf, and subscribe to Voices on Art on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the platform of your choice, and leave your rating if you like it. Thank you for listening to Voices on Art, the Van Horn Gallery podcast hosted by Daniela Steinfeld. Stay tuned and connect.